Guys. Today we are going to be making a birthday design e-card. I think I posted a tutorial on birthday designs some months ago, and I think it's time to do something new and something fresh. So we'll start by creating a new file, and I'm just going to change the unit of measurement to pixels, and I'm going to use a 1080 by 1080 dimension. The resolution can be 300, it's fine, and every other setting is the same. And I'll just hit create. And so these are the pictures. I'll start by removing the background from each one of them. So I'll start with the first one, and then I'll just go to if you're using older versions of Photoshop, you might not find this tab at the down. So you can just unlock the layer, and in the properties panel, most times you find the properties panel on the right, but this is how I arrange my workspace. So let me reset it. So this is how you find the default essentials workspace. So but I preferred arranging mine like this. So I was just going to bring the properties over here. So I'm going to collapse this. So this is how I prefer to set up this workspace. So we'll start by first removing the background, and I'll just go to select, and or just somewhere in the properties panel you can use this remove background or select subject, and or you can go to select and select subject. So but instead of removing the background, sometimes depending on the kind of image, you may not really get a perfect result. So I prefer doing things manually in cases like this. So I'd rather select subject, and Photoshop is going to analyze the photo and make the selection. So you can see that these parts are not selected. So but we have a pretty clean selection, but just some jagged edges. So I'll go to the lasso tool and then hold shift to add the selection. So hold shift and add to the selection. So the more precise you are, the better the results. So there are several ways you can accomplish this. So I'm going to use Alt to subtract these parts. So still shift to add these areas. So it's I prefer doing things manually most of the time, because there are several AI tools you can use to remove backgrounds from images, but sometimes it may not give you 100% perfect results. So, but I prefer doing things manually most of the time. But there are some exceptions to when I'm making things like this. I prefer doing it manually. So ensure you zoom in to see clearly. So I'm going to subtract this part. Subtract here. So let's add this. Now you can see that these parts are not selected. So instead of stressing myself going um, round and round with the lasso tool, I'm just going to select the quick selection tool, and still using Alt, I'll subtract from the selection, and it did that pretty well. So I think we'll just move on. I'll do the same here. and we may not get perfect results, but it's going to make our work faster. So we'll just use the lasso tool to like fine tune the selections. So um, this is going to be stressful anyways, but there's a way to refine here after making selections like this, but sometimes it still wouldn't give you the perfect result. So um, I like to get my results as or my selections as accurate as possible. So things I can cut out, I cut it out instead of depending on automatic selections most of the time. So I'm just going to select all of this. Okay, let's zoom out. And so we are going to continue with. Okay, I think we are done with this selection. I think we're done with this selection. So what we can do is to head over to the selector mask window, and we're going to refine the edges a little bit. So we're going to add some smooth to the edges, increase the contrast. Um, Let me zoom in, let's see if we get any effects. So if you increase the feather, you see that it's going to have this kind of feathered edges. But I don't really need any feather for this. So if you look closely, let me zoom in a little more. So if you zoom in, once you increase the smooth, it's going to remove some of the rough edges. And then I'm just going to increase the contrast so that it makes the edges more defined. And then I think we're done with that. Okay, let's decontaminate the edge colors. Then output new layer with layer mask, and I'm just going to hit OK. And I'm going to convert it to a smart object and import it into the design. Scale that down. And let's just have it like this first. So we can close this. And let's do that for the second image. So now notice how I import it inside the design. If I bring it here, it's going to appear here, which I do not want. So if I want it to open as a different document, I bring it somewhere around here, and it's going to open it as a different document. So we are still going to use the select subject. Okay, so now you can see edges like this might be very tough to deal with, but we can always find a way around it. So I think this is much more easier than the previous one. Lasso tool, let's add these edges. Now let's add. So let's remove this one. So when you're making selections like this, it's best to try to be as accurate as you can. But if you prefer using AI tools, you can go ahead. I'm not discouraging using AI to like remove background, but I'm just saying that I prefer doing it manually. So whatever works for you, you can run along with that. So, but just for the benefit of those who want to learn how to remove backgrounds properly in Photoshop. So when you're doing things like this, you have to pay attention to a lot of details. Okay, so you can also use the pen tool to make certain selections. So let's add this part. So I'm using the shift key, and so when you're making selections like this, you are most times bound to using several selection tools at the same time or at several intervals. So we can also use the pen tool where you just make some selections if you prefer using this. So I use the pen tool most times when I want to get selections for straight edges. You can just come in, join it, and say selection, add to selection. So just add it. So it depends on what method you prefer. So these tiny details may not really matter most of the time, but it's good to be an excellent graphic designer. Good to be very excellent. So that's why I most times like paying attention to all these tiny details. Just that I don't think we have a problem anywhere else. So we're going to go to select and mask. And then just like what we did earlier, so but let's zoom in. So if you take a look at these areas, if you take a good look at these areas, you can see that we have some of the background here. So what we're going to use is the refine edge brush tool. Ensure you're using a soft brush and then you can increase your brush size. So you can also increase your brush size by using the bracket keys on your keyboard, or if you hold Alt, if you're using an external mouse, or you right click and drag. So it's going to increase the brush size. Ensure it's on plus. You can just tap, and it's going to try to fix all those tiny edges for you. So this may not be so perfect actually, but it would improve the quality of these edges. So once we're done with that, we add some smooth and then increase contrast a little bit, decontaminate colors, and then okay. So we can close this, and then we have like three more images to select. So I don't think we're going to have problem with most of these ones. So you ensure you unlock the layer and let's say remove background. Let's see what kind of results we're going to have. Wow, this was not bad at all. But like what I said earlier, looking at this part, it couldn't really remove the now somewhere like this could not be removed. Ah, so we just undo that and say select subject. So once the subject is selected, I'll just go to the lasso tool and then add a few of this hair strands. So I'm trying to be faster with this because since you already know the process, so looking at this edges now, let me try using this. Yeah, because I don't really like these selections. So if you want to move the way I move in this inside of Photoshop, like when I move it like this, you hold the space bar on your keyboard and you click and drag. So but it's basically the hand tool. So once you select the hand tool, you can do just that. But the shortcut for that is to hold the space bar so that you can just move around instead of trying to use the edges and it makes you slower. So let's just clear out all these unwanted selections. So when you're making designs like this, you have to ensure that you're using high quality design friendly pictures because the quality of your images can drastically have an effect on the outcome of the design. In fact, it's the major aspect of the design. Except you're making a design that doesn't require any images, then you can deal with whatever elements you're dealing with. So, but if your design involves images, you have to ensure that you're working with high quality images. So just fix this, fix it. So it's something that you should practice. Practice paying attention to details so that you can have very amazing results. Because we could have just done remove background. It's going to remove background, but we might have all these edges that are not properly selected. And then some people just go ahead to make the design like that. It's not really going to give you a great result. Okay, so I guess that's that for that. So we're just going to go to select and mask. Oh, see here. Okay, so we're just going to select and mask and let's do the final refinement. So let's zoom in. You can use the zoom to let's wait to zoom in. So we're going to use the refine edge brush tool. So let's try using that here. It's not looking so nice, so I think it's better like this. I can see we have a lot of rough edges. So we're just going to use the smooth effect to fix all of that. So let's increase the hardness a bit so we can look at some defined results. So now when you look at this, you can see that it's not affecting this. So you select the brush tool and paint those aspects, those areas. So I guess we are done with this. So just add the smooth and then contrast, then decontaminate colors, and then okay. So we convert to smart object as well. Put it here. Okay, so let me do this first because I think that one is going to give us some serious issues. So unlock it and select subject as well. So we've been doing a lot of select subject, remove background. But we'll soon be done with this and we'll go straight to the design. So I'll use this alt and subtract from the design. It's giving me terrible results now. I'll just do it manually. So I can use the pen tool for this area, so I get a very good result. Then if you try to break it, you see that if you try to create another point, you see that it gives you this curve, which we don't want. So you just use Alt and you click this point. It breaks to that edge. Then you can do something like this. Now, let me take from here. And then we make it a full selection. So you hit selection and then subtract from selection. Click OK. So we have a perfect result right there. So we add this, add this, add this. So we already know the process. Isn't that amazing? Um, I don't know. We have to do this edge, and where else? I don't think we have a problem with the hair. We don't have so much problems with it. So, what we can do now is looking at this part. Let's try using the pen tool so that we can be more accurate. So we go to selection and subtract from selection. So I think that was pretty faster. At least I think so. So break it. So we go to selection and subtract from selection. I think this part doesn't have so much problems. Look at this area. So you really need to have good eyes to see certain things like this because this has almost the same color as the background. So trying to identify which part is the background and which part is not might be quite challenging for some people. Okay, so I guess you have to remove here as well. So once we're done with that, we go to select and mask, and I don't think we have so much to do here. We don't have so much to do here, so we just make it smooth and contrast. Okay. No, 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 we did not add our um decontaminate colors. So just add it and then okay. And convert to smart object. And then let's just drag it here. Control P, scale it down. Oh wow, this is going to be a very amazing design. So maybe you have you've zoomed in and zoomed out and your workspace is like this. Once you hit Control 0, it brings it back to full screen or full view rather. So I can close this. I don't think I know I need it any longer. So I guess it's the last selection left. Hmm. Oh, this is going to be so amazing. So let's try using one of the AI tools for that picture. So I'm just going to open my browser. Just going to open my browser. I'm going to search for pixel. Pixel cut background remover. So let's try to upload this image. And it's going to analyze it and try to remove the background. So we are waiting for it, waiting, waiting, waiting. Um, so now we have this amazing set of pictures which we can use. So I think it's a very good job. Let's download it. Now, if you want to download the high quality, you need to go to subscribe to the pro version. Although there are other free tools you can, free AI tools you can use. But let's just download standard quality. Then once we open it, let's zoom in to see. Now, it also reduced the quality of our image, and it couldn't really get this inside part. You can see that as well. So that's one of the reasons why I don't look at this part. It removed it. I don't really depend on AI tools. So let's do it manually. So we'll start by this might be the toughest one. Select subject. So once we're done with creating the selection, just like what we've done for the other ones, we can just add and subtract, add and subtract, add and subtract. So that's basically what we're doing. We're just adding and subtracting, add and subtract. Okay, so let's try to be faster with this. So if you already know how to make these selections, you can just skip this part and move on to see the actual design. So most times when you're making selections like this, the parts that really um, might be a huge challenge is making selection for the hair. So but you can just use the refine hair or refine edge effect. Okay. Now look at these edges. I don't really like that. So I'll go to the quick selection tool and try to fix that. Here we go again. This is becoming more stressful than ever. Excuse me. Okay, so we'll just continue making the selections until we are done with it. So it's good that you practice how to make selections so that you can really master it. So if we had an image that we never really had to do with so much hair, would have been done with selections by now. But it's all good. It's part of the job you get. Anyway, it's so amazing doing this. I could do this for hours and hours and hours, just trying to ensure that I get everything just right. So always ensure you take the time to like deliver excellently. Ensure that you're not trying to always rush things. Because if you most times try to rush things like this, there'll be a lot of faulty, um, lot of a lot of things might just go wrong. A lot of things might simply just go wrong. So we can use the pen tool for this area because I don't think I'm going to go over every tiny aspect. So you hold Alt and you click to break that part. So I'm just trying to make it as fast as possible. So you subtract from selection. So I think we're done with that area. So let's come over here and then add this part. So we'll use the quick selection to add these parts. Hmm. So let's use the pencil for these three edges. Add to selection. Then let's do the same thing here. Now selection, add to selection. Okay, so you can just see how I'm just switching from one tool to the other to get the result I want. So you may have a different approach to selections. So this is just my own style. So you can use whatever works with you because some people prefer using the pen, so they'll just go around every edge, making a selection. If that's what they prefer, still a good thing. So there is no specific way of making things like this. You just have to find what works for you and what you're comfortable with. So we have a straight edge again. So I'm just gonna go here, make it curve a little, and break the selection, add to selection. So I think we have the same issue here. So you can see that we need to rectify this edge. So just like I said earlier, I'm just going to use pen tool still because it's going to help with straight edges instead of using the lasso tool. Selections, add to selection. We can just come here and do the same thing. Subtract from selection. Add to selection. Add to selection. So let's apply the, let's use the pen tool on this edge as well. Now, selection, add to selection. No, 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 no. Okay, so I guess we're done with that. Select and mask. And then we're just going to smoothen, contrast, decontaminate colors. Okay. Convert to smart objects and fix it here. Control P to transform and scale it down. So I can close this. Yes, so we have all our images ready. So what we're going to do is to select the now we have 5 pictures here and I want to work with 3. So we have to select 3 nice pictures. Um, let's select. I think I'm going to go with this first. Uh, then this, and then should I use this? No, should I use this? But could this be in front? Hmm. So let's turn this out like this. No, that's one. So Control P, bring it to the center. So, like I explained in the previous live stream, I like to start by arranging the images first before I proceed to do any other thing because it's going to help with the layout. So, and talking about layout, let's add some guides. So you go to view, then guides, and then new guide layout. So I'm just going to make the gutter 3, no, 2, and rows should be 2 as well, so that we can know the focal point. So I'll add this as well, but I'll scale this up really well. Not so much though. So let's say I place this here. We are still going to play around with its uh, arrangement. And this other one. Am I correct? Yeah, this other one. We can have this here. hmm Let's reduce this. Oh, should I bring this in front? Hmm. So you can just play around with the arrangement when you're making things like this. Try to identify what works best. So I think doing this, I might need a fourth picture. Hmm, interesting. Should we add this? Where's this one? Should I add this? Let's get it. Should I add this or this? No, I think you don't this one. I'll use this instead. Hmm. So let's continue. So let's write on. Um, let me turn this off first. It looks like let's just have it anyways. So I'm going to group all these pictures, even the one we are not making use of. So I select the first layer and then select the last and Control G to group it, or you can use this tiny folder icon down here. So you select this with Control P and then scale it down because we are going to have other elements in the design as well. Maybe the text at the top and everything like that. Hmm. So now let's now figure out the background we're going to use. So I like starting off with some solid colors. So I'll go to adjustments and solid color. Now talking of solid color, our solid color is white. So I prefer picking solid colors from the image itself. Let's see what goes best. Hmm. And you know that this colors evoke certain emotions. So what kind of emotion are we trying to give off? We're trying to make it look celebratory, right? It's pinky, pinky pink. Okay, let's get some more options. Solid color. Let's go yellow this time. Or dark red. And another solid color, yellow. So looking at these now, uh, all of these are just making sense. Hmm. Should I go yellow or this? Hmm. I think I'll go with the red. Let's turn these off. I think the red is fine. So you can see that we have some rough edges here. We'll fix that shortly. But let's have our text. So I'll start by typing birthday first. Birthday. So Control T to transform. And we're surely going to change the color of this. Let's make it white. Oh, the beauty of this thing is just popping out already. Now we can mix two colors, mind you. We can mix. So let's bring this pink upwards. Select the mask and invert the mask. So use Ctrl I to invert the mask. And we're going to use our brush tool and reduce our hardness to 0. And then you can just ensure your foreground color is white. Then you can just change it to top. Now this is how we combine colors. So this was before and this is after. So let's try adding the yellow as well. So select the mask, invert the mask. Still with brush tool. Let's see what that gives us. Now it's becoming so colorful. Too much colors. So let's reduce the opacity of this. I think 75 is before. So um now let's try changing the font of this. Let's use a luxury kind of font. I mean a sans serif font. You get. Let's try that in between. Let's say this is here and we have it here. This is not also bad as well. Hmm. Let's try. We'll try this later on. Let's undo that. Let's undo that, and then let's change the font. There are a lot of fonts to select from, and I don't need any of this style of font. Hmm. Number. Nah. So now, when you're trying to select fonts, this can be um the how will I put it down? The most time consuming aspects of your design because trying to select what, hold on hold on like I was saying it can be the most time consuming aspects of the design. So this is more like a script font, and script fonts you don't type everything in capital letters, so it will make the rest small letters. Oh, and I accidentally stumbled upon this. This is perfect. This is perfecto. I love this. But now the thing is, you're not seeing the birthday thingy. So I think we'll have to push this down. Let's take it down. Bring it down. Bring it down. So we're gonna take this up a bit. So select both layers and push it up, push it up, push it up, push it up. And wow, this is so good. It just matches the theme. And thank God we found it so early. If not, I would have scrolled up to I have like 2,000 fonts, and you're just going to scroll and scroll and scroll. But if you know the name of the particular font you want, you can just click here and type it. Um, but let's forget about that for now. So it's supposed to be happy birthday, so I'll just duplicate this um duplicate layer. Shortcut for duplicating is Control G. So you just hit Control J, you can duplicate it as many times as you want. So we have duplicated it, then Control P to transform, and then let's make that. So now this is now giving me Disney vibes. You get happy birthday. So I'll scale this down. Let's see if I can put it in here. But will it be too visible? I don't think so. But it's not a problem. I think I just prefer it there. It just looks amazing. That means I'm going to look for an image of a castle and try adding it in the background. So, but before we do that, let's try adding the name. Because if we're going to do that, I think we can remove this. Should we? Should we not? Should we? Should we not? Should we? Should we not? Okay, let's leave it. So let's type the name. Now we're going to change the font for this, and I'm going to try. So now I'll try to make everything match. This font is just so perfect for this. So don't worry, we'll fix all the color contrast and everything to make it much more readable. Hmm. Oh God, dear Lord Jesus. So let's take this out to this point. So just bring this here. Um, so what we gonna do about the dates? Oh, okay, so you can see that these parts of the image are not so. Should I remove this? Hmm. I guess I'll just remove it. It make me want to think of what to do with it. It's nice, it's cool, but let's do without it for now. That means we have to use this. And then let's add the date. What's today's date? Today's date is 15th November. So now I'll select this and make it a superscript. So you can just come here or you go to window, enable character, come to characters and make it a superscript. So it becomes like this. So I'm going to type to November differently. Now you can see the kind of alignment I'm using. Trying to ensure that these things are properly aligned. November. We don't even have to type it in full. You can just Control P. It doesn't have to be so big. 15th November. November. Can be small. And I don't think it should be this big as well. So don't worry about these sharp edges. We're going to fix that. So the next thing we can do is this is cool. If we want to go ahead with this, it's perfect and it's fine. But let me try adding something to the background. I already downloaded some patterns, some um, African fabric patterns, something like this. Let's just try it. Let's just give it a try. Control P, rotate 90 degrees clockwise. Oh, so let's change the blend mode. Let's see what we can get. Oh, this is so mind blowing. Let's try screen color dodge. Luminosity ain't bad, but I think lighting and color. I'm sure lighting. Let's just lighten it. Sure, I think this gives it a particular kind of vibe. So this is before and this is after. Wow. Okay. I think we can add some flowers to this design. So let's create a mask and continue. This has a sharp edge. Let's create a mask, then use the gradient tool. So I prefer using this um, gradient mask technique. Hmm. Because I can use brush as well to like fade out the edges, ensure that your foreground color is black, to like fade out the edge. But I'd rather use the gradient to ensure that this is black, then ensure that the gradient I'm using is foreground to transparent. So I just have to draw like this, and, and it gives me that smooth fade. Again, draw again, and there we go. So let's see if we reduce the opacity of this. I think 60 works so that it it's not too distracting. Mhm. So here's what we can do. So we'll do the same thing for this image. Let's select it, create a mask. Let's duplicate it. Let's draw it again. So it just makes it smooth. Then let's come to this one. And then let's do the same thing. So I would like to have the gradient at the same point. Yeah, let me start from here. Yeah, so we're now making waves with our results. Okay, so what we can do next is to try. Let's get an image of a castle. Yeah, so I'm going to castle wide shot. Let's go with a fantasy castle. Hmm, I don't think I'm seeing what I like here. I'll just go to free pick then. Just go to castle. I think I'm getting some nice results now. Okay, let's be more specific because I kind of like this one. Let's download it first. Then let's be more specific. Fantasy castle. Hmm. Okay. So I think I prefer something like this, but that's only for the premium users. So let's just turn on the free filter and then photos. So all we get is the free images. Aha! This is an example of what I was talking about. Download. Now, so let's minimize it. Let's try adding that same image. So original downloads, refresh my downloads. And then bring this in. Slowly set that down. Slowly set that because this is more like a watercolor painting, so to speak. So let's try some blend modes, see what works. So we can just go with soft light, soft highlight, soft light, highlight, soft light, or overlay. Let's go with overlay. So we don't need images of this treatment. Let's try this one. So that we can have a custom image here. Because now I also need this to show here. So I'll just, I don't know, and mask this side and this side. And then I'm going to duplicate this, Control J and Control P, and right click, flip horizontal, and then so that we can have it on this side as well. Now, looking at the top of each of them, they just have the sharp edges. So we're just still going to use the gradient tool and pull down a bit. Oh, I think it's this one we're doing this now. Pull down a bit, still pull down. hold on, it's not giving me the results. So if it still has that edge, you go to your brush tool, select it, then ensure using blur. So, oh, the problem wasn't from this one. The problem was from this one. See, that edge was strong. And I was thinking, oh no, cancel. The problem wasn't from there either. It was a problem from this image, from this particular one. So when you're creating things like this, you have to be very, very precise. So ensure that there are no errors. Ensure that right from this background, the problem isn't from there. So let's do the same thing here. I'll use the gradient tool. So now that we have those, hmm, what are we going to do? Okay, so we have the name and the date. What next can we add? Nothing else. I guess we're done. Wait a minute, is that all? Okay, let's just try adding a field effect. So let's add a new layer. Select the gradient tool. Let's use this dark red, a dark one. Let's like draw over everything. Number kırını bıçak kırası. So, I think the uh, so this is before, this is after. So let's change the blend to multiply, and let's reduce the effect a bit. Okay, so basically we are um, basically and technically we are done with this design. Except there's a special request for us to add some extra information, maybe like a prayer or a wish or something like that. So let's group this background. So Control P. So we're going to name it background. Although we have a default white background layer which we can delete. So I'm just going to label this any color I like. So this is let's put this Control P. So name this date. So this is just a way to organize your layers. Control P. Control. No, double click. And then let's name it name. And we can just create input for this layer. Let's name it adjustments. Yeah, and put this in. Okay, pictures. Let's put this Control G. HBD. We have some more organized layers right here. And let's label it any color you want. So I strongly feel that we need to write something down here. So what can we write? Let's just search for something online. Say Happy birthday prayers to a pastor. Okay, so there are several websites that give. Okay, so I'm just gonna read this. So I don't know. Sure. Let's check another website because I can't seem to find. Hmm. I think I like this. I think I like this. So just copy it, Control C, and then come here because I don't like the fact that the down is just empty. So Control V, and mind you, we're not going to use the same text. Because of course it's not going to be readable. It won't be so readable. So we're going to use a sans serif font like Gilroy, Gilroy regular. Yeah, I guess Gilroy regular. So we're going to break this and have it down here. Control T can increase it. So you can just zoom in, make some tiny adjustments to the text. Maybe personalize it or something. Happy birthday, Pastor. More prosperity and prosperity. Wow, that sounds like a nice rhyme in Jesus Christ's name. You are always celebrated. Wow. I think I'll prefer to break this into another line. Better still, better still, let's copy everything. Control A, Control C, and let's use a text box this time. So click and drag, and then ensure your font is something small, at least. And Control V, paste it. Control A, and let's keep the font. So let's use this or this. So if we try moving or shrinking this, it's going to adjust it accordingly. I think I'll just prefer this thing to be 3 lines of text. Well, anyway, this is not bad. Hmm. Control zero. Happy birthday, Pastor. More prosperity and posterity in Jesus Christ's name. Happy blessed birthday to you, Mom. You are always celebrated. Okay, so I think that's it. I I strongly think that's it. We don't need to add anything. Okay, you're supposed to add a logo. Let's go to documents. Where's our logo again? So we can add. So I'm going to send the PSD file for this project in the description, so you can always download it and make use of it. Control V, logos, logo, then Control V, prayer, slash wish. So I'm going to send, okay, so once we're done, you just Control S and just save it. Choose PSD. Okay, so I think I would like to add one more thing. That's going to be and let's duplicate this layer. Huh? Let's duplicate it. Let's delete the mask. So if you create this, it gives you a white mask. So for us to create a negative mask, instead of just creating a mask and then inverting it, you just hold Alt and you click the mask icon. It's going to create the negative mask. So let's change this blend mode to screen. Select the brush tool, select the mask, and right click. Ensure you're using a soft brush. Now let's just try paint and no, ensure your foreground color is white. Let's do something like this. Hmm, I think it's not just too much. Reduce your brush opacity to like 50. Then you do just something. Nothing it doesn't have to be obvious. So you can do without it if you if you think so. If you're cool without it, I think I'll just do without it. Doesn't have to be there. Just makes it a lot more distracting. If you like it, you can use it. So I think we're done with this. Just export it and post it. Okay, let's try bringing this down a bit, and then okay, let's clear our guides because I'm trying to ensure that we have something properly aligned. So let's create new guides. New guide layout. So I'm going to work with 4 columns. No, that's great. 4 columns. Because I really want to ensure that it is centralized in this line, and this is also centralized with this line. So you can group them and like Control A into this. So it makes it look more straight. Then you can undo that on group layers afterwards. And then let's ensure that this is centralized as well. So to easily centralize things, hit Control A on your keyboard. It's going to select the entire frame and it's going to activate this align control. So you can use any of this, but that's not what I want. So if I use this, it indicates that it's aligned. So let's move this up a bit. And then I'm going to just break the line here. Let's try adding, because there's a principle of emphasis in graphic design. Okay, now let's ensure that these two elements are aligned at horizontal or vertical centers. Looks good. So let's break this with a line. You can download, let's download, they call it line separators, I guess. Line separator. Yeah, line separator PNG. Okay, you can just open this here. Now you can see a bunch of them. They're also called text dividers. So I think I'm going to pick this and close these as pick this. So I'm going to download this. Then solve this. 7G. So once we're done with that, we can come here and download this as well. So it's going to download. So just to add some sauce. Now, just see how we kept things simple. And so I'm going to open this as a different document and select the one I really want to make use of. I don't want this. I just need something simple. So I'm going to go with this. Right click and we have here cut. Then you can drag it in. That's not it. Did not move. Come here. Come over here. P can scale it down. Now it's black. So we just have to invert the colors. Control I and just invert it. You can still scale it down. Excuse me. Control P. Then we can just duplicate it. Control J. I think that's okay because I don't think we need to Control S to save. I don't think we need to still add these. I don't think we still need any of this. But let's just give it a try. If it's not nice, we just delete it. So I'm using the pencil to make a selection. Make the selection. Okay. Then you come to any of your selection tools, right click, they have here cut, and you do the same thing. Control T. Still did not move. Control P. Scale. No, 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 no. It's going to be. Let's just make it tiny. Control I. So, nothing bad. I think we're going to create a group for this as well. So Control G. I think we should just put it inside here. So decorations. Let's move the date and the name upwards a bit. I think so we are done with this. So, nothing else. Arigato gozaimasu. Alright, so we're just going to export this. You go to File, Export, Export as. And if you really want to export as a high quality file, go to Image, go to Image Size, and increase the resolution a bit. Increase to 1000, but let's just make it 500. And Control 0, we're going to export a resolution of 500. So let's save that. So basically, we're done. So you can undo the resolution change. So it goes back to the original resolution so that you can save it and have a lesser file size. So whenever you want to export, you can just increase the file size. So I'm going to send this. You can find this template in the description below, and you can download it and use it for yourself. Thank you, and God bless you. So ensure to like and share this video and subscribe as well. Thank you, and God bless you. Hello, 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 hello. All right, guys. So today we are going to be making a birthday design e-card. I think I posted a tutorial on birthday designs some months ago, and I think it's time to do something new and something fresh. So we'll start by creating a new file, and I'm just going to change the unit of measurement to pixels, and I'm going to use a 1080 by 1080 dimension. The resolution can be 300, it's fine, and every other setting is the same. And I'll just hit create. And so these are the pictures. I'll start by removing the background from each one of them. So I'll start with the first one, and then I'll just go to if you're using older versions of Photoshop, you might not find this tab at the down. So you can just unlock the layer, and in the properties panel, most times you find the properties panel on the right, but this is how I arrange my workspace. So let me reset it. So this is how you find the default essentials workspace. So what I preferred arranging mine like this. So I was just going to bring the properties over here. So I'm going to collapse this. So this is how I prefer to set up this workspace. So we'll start by first removing the background, and I'll just go to select and or just somewhere in the properties panel, you can use this remove background or select subject, and or you can go to select and select subject. So, but instead of removing the background, sometimes depending on the kind of image, you may not really get a perfect result. So, I prefer doing things manually in cases like this. So, I'd rather select subject, and Photoshop is going to analyze the photo and make the selection. So you can see that these parts are not selected. So we have a pretty clean selection, but just some jagged edges. So I'll go to the lasso tool and then hold shift to add the selection. So hold shift and add to the selection. So the more precise you are, the better the results. So there are several ways you can accomplish this. So I'm going to use Alt to subtract these parts. So still shift to add these areas. So it's I prefer doing things manually most of the time because there are several AI tools you can use to remove backgrounds from images, but sometimes it may not give you 100% perfect results. So, but I prefer doing things manually most of the time. But there are some exceptions to when I'm making things like this. I prefer doing it manually. So ensure you zoom in to see clearly. So I'm going to subtract this part. Subtract here. So let's add this. Now you can see that these parts are not selected. So instead of stressing myself going um, round and round with the lasso tool, I'm just going to select the quick selection tool and still using Alt, I'll subtract from the selection. And it did that pretty well. So I think we'll just move on. I'll do the same here, and we may not get perfect results, but it's going to make our work faster. So we'll just use the lasso tool to like fine tune the selections. So um, this is going to be stressful anyways, but there's a way to refine here after making selections like this, but sometimes it still wouldn't give you the perfect result. So um, I like to get my result as or my selections as accurate as possible. So things I can cut out, I cut it out instead of depending on automatic selections most of the time. So I'm just going to select all of this. Okay, let's zoom out. And okay, here as well. So we are going to continue with. Okay, I think we are done with this selection. I think we are done with this selection. So what we can do is to Head over to the selector mask window, and we're going to refine the edges a little bit. So we're going to add some smooth to the edges, increase the contrast. Um, Let me zoom in. Let's see if we get any of the effects. So if you increase the feather, you see that it's going to have this kind of feathered edges. But I don't really need any feather for this. So if you look closely, let me zoom in a little more. So if you zoom in, once you increase the smooth, it's going to remove some of the rough edges. And then I'm just going to increase the contrast so that it makes the edges more defined. And then I think we're done with that. Okay, let's decontaminate the edge colors. Then output new layer with layer mask, and I'm just going to hit OK. And I'm going to convert it to a smart object and import it into the design. Scale that down. And let's just have it like this first. So we can close this. And let's do that for the second image. So now notice how I import it inside the design. If I bring it here, it's going to appear here, which I do not want. So if I want it to open as a different document, I bring it somewhere around here, and it's going to open it as a different document. So we are still going to use the select subject. Okay, so now you can see edges like this might be very tough to deal with, but we can always find a way around it. So I think this is much more easier than the previous one. Lasso tool. Let's add these edges. Now let's add. So let's remove this one. So when you're making selections like this, it's best to try to be as accurate as you can. But if you prefer using AI tools, you can go ahead. I'm not discouraging using AI to like remove background clips. I'm just saying that I prefer doing it manually. So whatever works for you, you can run along with that. So, but just for the benefit of those who want to learn how to remove backgrounds properly in Photoshop. So when you're doing things like this, you have to pay attention to a lot of details. Okay, so you can also use the pen tool to make certain selections. So let's add this part. So I'm using the shift key, and so when you're making selections like this, you are most times bound to using several selection tools at the same time or at several intervals. So we can also use the pen tool where you just make some selections if you prefer using this. So I use the pen